Welcome to Garage Gym Athlete Cool Downs. These episodes are short, actionable podcasts pulled from previous interviews and content we've been publishing for the last several years. So go for a walk, hop on the rower, or clip into the bike for this cool down episode. Now, I do want to hit on a few things. We talked a little bit beforehand. I wanted to make sure that, when I have an expert on the show, I don't want to miss anything, or especially miss anything that they are currently passionate about or just overall passionate about. And one thing you mentioned was caffeine. Where has that slipped into your research or work lately?
Well, as we stand, I am at a coffee shop right now, drinking a decaf cinnamon maple latte. So it's delicious. I got my decaf coffee going on. And I'm just really passionate about getting the message out on caffeine. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. Something like 90% of us across the world drink a caffeinated beverage every day. And for me, I just want to get the word out that, caffeine can impact our recovery, and it does impact our sleep. And so one of the studies I refer to a lot was one by Landolt. And what they did is they brought in subjects who were normally consuming, 2 cups of coffee a day. They brought them in for 2 days without caffeine, and then they gave them a 200 milligram of caffeine, which is the equivalent of about 2 cups of coffee at 7 a.m. And they looked at their caffeine content, and they looked at how that impacted their sleep that night. And what they found was that right before bed, with a 7 a.m. administration of 200 milligrams, they had the equivalent of a black tea still left in their system. And I mean, none of us would really drink a black tea right before bed. That would be crazy. But they had that, and it ended up impacting their sleep. They took longer to fall asleep. It impacted their deep sleep or their brainwave activity, and led to more arousals during the night. So I think people just need to be careful. I think more of maybe a periodized approach. So maybe having a few days with caffeine and then maybe go one day without. And another study actually recently published showed that with sleep restriction, the caffeine did work for 2-3 days, but by the end of that third day, it was no longer useful. So I think more of that periodized approach is going to be more beneficial for people, and that will lead to better recovery and better sleep at night.
So what you're saying there is if you are kind of sleep deprived going into 1 or 2 days, caffeine can perk you up and help you to some degree, but after the 72 hours or whatever, it's really not beneficial anymore.
Absolutely, yeah. And it showed impairments with mood, that one study. So on that third day, the caffeine didn't really impact their decision-making, their reaction time, and it actually impaired their mood. So trying to limit the caffeine. Can you go decaf here and there? I mean, for me, I'm full decaf. I don't drink caffeine. I might drink green tea or something if I'm really struggling in the afternoon. But for me, and I feel like I'm sleeping like I'm, 10 years old again. Like I don't wake up during the night. And with graduate school, that's when I really started to ramp up the consumption and was drinking it day in and day out. Every single day, I couldn't go without, coffee for even one day. And so I think we just need to be aware of the impact that caffeine can have on us, and really try and limit it.
Yeah, my caffeine consumption has spiked with each child. Each child I'm consuming, because I don't normally ever have more than 1 cup of coffee in a day, and then with a newborn, it could be 2 cups. Normally not 3 unless it was like a really bad night, and then now I have a 9-month-old, so I'm weaning back down off the caffeine. But I completely agree. I know some people can drink just so many cups of coffee in a day. After a certain point, I can't see it being effective anymore.
I know, and I will mention, so my youngest he's 16 months now. I did not start this whole decaf routine until he was probably, 8 months old. So,
Right.
so I definitely, the caffeine was sure a benefit when he was newborn.
Thanks for listening to today's Cool Down. If for some ridiculous reason you are not subscribed to Garage Gym Athlete programming, fix that problem right now. Go to garagegymathlete.com, sign up for a free trial, get started with us today. Thanks for listening.